All right, folks, thank you for joining us today. I'm excited, very excited, to have Derrick Purcell here with me. He's in Baltimore, Maryland, and he's a partner at IDB's Table and director of operations as well. And a very cool place with an incredible backstory, the restaurant. And then Derrick has had a long and successful career in the industry, and crazy time, but he's taken time to hang out and tell his story today. So Derrick, thank you very much for doing that.
My pleasure.
You and I first connected a few months ago, and kind of at the start of all this, I think was the first time we talked. And typically when somebody calls in to Schedulefly, and I think it was maybe a billing thing, I always like to go check out their website and see what's going on there. And, places or people or both that seem like they have a really cool story, I like to invite to come on the podcast or now the Zoom series. And you were certainly one of those, man. So start out telling me a little bit about yourself and your background in the business, how you got started in hospitality.
Oh, wow. It's pretty interesting because I actually was in the healthcare industry prior to getting into hospitality. And there's a food managed company that I went to for a part-time job about, 21 years ago. And I wound up working for them for 19 years, as a prep cook, executive chef, director of operations, and it's been and then general manager. So it's been a really good run. And really at my core, I just love serving people. I love when you can impact someone's life, especially when you add the element of food to that. And so that's always been a passion of mine. And, after 19 years, I came on board here at the end of 2018 as a partner here at IDB's Table. And this was actually started in 2017 in partnership with Real News Network, which is a nonprofit media company. And so when I got here, we were really looking to drive the business, and a little over a year and a half later, we get into what we entered into in beginning of March when it really hit as far as COVID. So that kind of just a brief of getting here, now that I'm here, COVID.
Yeah, we're going to get into that for sure. But you've done it all. You've been in the front of the house, the back of the house, and a lot of years in this industry. Is IDB's, so you came as a partner in 2018, but the restaurant was started in 17?
Yeah, 2017, yep.
2017, okay. Tell me the backstory about IDB. I was reading a little bit about that on your website, but why is it called IDB's Table?
So again, that's something that was set up prior to me being here, but it's definitely named after a woman, a great woman actually, who stood for civil justice. She stood against lynching. She wrote several books, postings about lynchings that had taken place across America. She was also strong with the suffrage movement, as well as one of the founding members of the NAACP. And so it just speaks volumes to, and then her profession was, she was a journalist. So she was able to really do some great things based on her profession with writing things and her company. And that's one of the reasons why the Real News Network chose her, because they're definitely into journalism, and she was into journalism, as well as being in the heart of Baltimore that just needed a spark of some positive things that needed to take place, coming off of the riots in 2015, and just trying to do something positive here in this city. And I just think all of that came together, and it was a cool opportunity, a great thing to do, and here we are.
So where are you? You're in the restaurant now.
Yep.
Tell me about the building where you are. Where are you located, and is there a historical significance? It looks like it's a building that may have been there a while.
Yeah, so one of the things that was in this building was a box company. that, the name slips my mind on that, on the box company. It was in the early 1900s. And then the building next door was an old Brinks building, which Armored Trucks bought the money to way back when. And so both buildings have great historic stories behind them as far as the time that they were here. And the building was unoccupied for quite a while before the Real News Network actually purchased the buildings to begin to start the media company and then the restaurant.
So, okay, the Real News Network, tell me about how does that connect? I can understand sharing Ida B's story. What an amazing woman, based on what you just said. An incredible story that needs to be shared. Why through hospitality?
Well, so the Real News is a fact-based journalist company. They don't take any government money. It's all private funding. And they speak on real issues that traditionally the large media organizations don't want to speak to. So they're not biased in any way. And they kind of speak for the people that really need a voice. So the things that they report on are really current events that are happening that may get missed on your 5 o'clock news or 11 p.m. And so again, the restaurant would have been more of a social hub, a gathering that people can come to and feel welcome to talk about anything. And so it's also a nice family place that people can come to. So everyone feels welcome. Everyone feels like they can come here and get great food while they're here. And so that was pretty much the connection. I would just use that term just as a social gathering place in partnership to what the Real News was already speaking about.
Ah, love it. Okay, that makes a ton of sense now. So then it's something we need, and it's why people value independent restaurants in particular, is because you have a very welcoming atmosphere that is, when it's independent, it's a local, it's a small business, it's owned by local people, and it's run by local people, and it invests in the local community, and it's where we want to go and gather and have hospitality and talk about things that are going on in our community. And then COVID hits, and now people can't go to restaurants, or they can't go as much, or they, not as many can go. What happened there through this? Have y'all been able to do takeout and delivery, or what's changed about Ida B's in the short term, and what do you think is going to change going forward? Best guess with the business in terms of the importance of being a place for people to gather and socialize and have these important conversations.
So that's a pretty interesting question. So when you say what has changed, let's just say almost everything. We were primarily, when I say primarily, maybe 95% dine in, as far as our day-to-day business. So you take that away, and it's almost like taking away the heartbeat of an organization. Now, we were building out catering, which was outside catering inside. But when you shut everything down like that, it's pretty rough because, again, that's the heartbeat of the business. So, you take a week off, just kind of like the whole universe is just going time out, right? You just take a week off and figure out the way forward. Well, that way forward was third-party deliveries, curbside pickup, and allowing people to come to the counter to order and place orders for takeout. And so you kind of had to reestablish yourself, and that's what we had to do, is just kind of reestablish the fact that we can provide the same great food, but now we can do it in a manner where you can pick that up and take it out with you. So, we lost a nice bit of the team, bartenders and servers, and in reassessing, there were some people that we had made a commitment to that we would try to help them out because they couldn't collect unemployment. So that's kind of how we built our team to forge forward through COVID-19. And, we had days where we may have got 2 or 3 sales, but, business has picked up for us as far as that. I don't ever plan on going away from the delivery service, curbside pickup and takeout. It's sustained us during this, and we're looking to come out of this stronger than we went into it. We've had a chance to reevaluate and see how we can best move forward with operating in this same space and serving the community that we live in. And that's the question. I don't want to get ahead of what you're saying, so I'll just digress here.
No, that's awesome. Okay, so a couple of things. Well, first of all, do y'all own the building?
I'm sorry?
Do y'all own the building that you're in?
No, we don't own the building.
You don't own the building. Okay. How much seating did you have prior to COVID?
So we could seat.
What's your capacity?
We could seat 76 people, and then we had another roughly 25 seats that we could get over at the bar. Seating for additional seating/standing for an additional 25 people. 2 party rooms on the side here. One could hold up to 48 people. The other one could hold up to 21 people.
Okay. So you got a lot of space now, a lot of real estate that you're paying for that's pretty much unused.
Yeah, that's exactly what we have. And so we were, again, just being strategic and trying to drive that business. And, most restaurants offer that. So some restaurants were able to just kind of get ahead a little quicker because they already had that clientele of people that were accustomed to ordering on the go. So we, like I said, we just had to reevaluate the way we do business and jump right in there and forge ahead.
Well, do you, okay, so you've got the third-party delivery services. Is that something that, because you lose a lot off the top with those, are there ways that you can do your own delivery, or do you get into insurance and all the other risks that would be cost prohibitive, overhead and everything else to, if you were to try to do that yourself, or have you all even explored that?
Well, yeah, that's exactly how I rationalized it. The labor times the liability, times the vehicle, times the, plus what would take place as far as having, you have an employee out that's doing delivery, and there's yet another level of liability there. And so I know that these delivery partners do take a chunk off at the top, but I look at it as it was something that we wouldn't have as if we didn't use them. Now, and if there was something better that came along, I'm open for that, but those kind of all the prices that everyone's paying across the board. There were some companies that were covering third-party deliveries. Some of your large delivery companies, such as Cisco and US Foods and things like that. I think US Foods, but I knew that they were picking up some of that tab for businesses that use them. And so, at the time, I wasn't using any of those companies. We were just using the local people that were available. So some restaurants were able to take advantage of that. It's just that we pretty much played the hand that we were dealt, and we refused to quit. And so we got stronger. We reached out, we did some marketing, and that helped drive business. And we have some really good days, and we have some days that are fair.
Are y'all, tell me, are you able to have anybody in now? Because I know it varies so much. I always like to find out what's going on within each state and then within each city and all that kind of stuff. Do you have any indoor seating at all right now? Okay, you do.
So yeah, now we can have indoor seating. Well, the city of Baltimore, the state can now have 75%, based off of last week, the governor is opening up to 75%. The city is still at 50%. And so while we were in the midst of COVID, we were also looking at how do we come out of this stronger than we went in it. So, we came up with a business plan, and that plan was to evolve more to the community that we serve. Being downtown, we're near the courthouse, we're near City Hall, we're near the municipal building. So a lot of people don't have that time to come in during the weekdays and sit down for 35, 45-minute, maybe an hour's lunch. So we're evolving that weekday service into a fast casual model that we can get people in and out, staying in the lane of soul food, of course, but that we can get people in and out. And then we have 4 condos within walking distance and a 5th one a little further away. So we also want to, we're evolving into doing what we'll call our retail portion, which will be more like a pantry or a market, selling some fresh produce and some local items like bacon, milk, eggs, and things of that nature to tap into what the community would actually need, as well as on the weekend, we'll continue that full dine-in service, which will be our brunch and our late night. So those days always performed well. And so where we're tweaking the business is to just include that fast casual part, which we think would serve the people that are down here Monday through Friday better, and then really push the catering. And then of course that 5th bucket that we'll operate in will be to serve the community. We're able to do that, or have been able to do that even in the midst of COVID. We partner with Stratford, which is a local culinary school. Students there use their externship and we mentor them. And so we just want to figure out how do we not lose the essence of who we are, but evolve and still serve the community and come out ahead of the game. So that's the way forward that we're going. And we think that's going to help us to be better as we come out of this COVID.
You got a great mindset. You mentioned it before we start talking live here, and you mentioned it since we've talked, which is just having this, won't quit mentality. Talk about, man, just tell me, like, how do you keep your mental game sharp during this, Derrick? I mean, let's be honest, it's been incredibly challenging and stressful. You take a week off, you kind of go, what in the world is going on here? Like, good grief. And then you spend, we've been in this, 5-6 months now. What do you do personally to just stay level-headed, calm, focused, creative, thoughtful, intentional, positive? Can't be easy every day.
No, there's my spiritual belief. There's prayer. I have a great wife that I can talk to, that I can say, hey, you know what? I'm having a tough day. And we encourage one another because she works in the health profession, so she goes through stuff too. And then I surround myself with positive people. And, sometimes if you're down, you don't need someone else that's down. At some point, someone's got to be there to lift you up. And so I've been blessed to have a great circle of people that can really speak into me and that I can speak into. And then when I come in here and I see our employees and we're pouring into them and we're instilling great mindsets in them, they're learning too. They're going through things psychologically. No one's been through a pandemic before. And so when you recognize that you're the go-to person, the ball is always going to be in your hand to drive it. You can't quit. You can't give up. There are people depending on you. And so that's just everything that drives me, my belief, my passion. And I know we outlive this pandemic. I know that we move forward. I know that we come out better than we went into this thing. And it's just really about surrounding yourself with strong people that believe in you and that you can believe in.
That clearly is a mindset that was instilled in you before this, obviously, because I can tell that's a very strong belief of yours in the way you look at things. Is that something that your parents instilled in you? Or you mentioned your faith. I really like the way you look at things. That can be hard. It can be easy to articulate that in good times.
Yeah.
It's hard to articulate it as convincingly as you just have in hard times. Where does that come from, man?
Absolutely. You know, I have great parents, both believers in the faith. I think they instilled a lot in me. None of us are perfect, but we were brought up with morals, values. We were brought up with passion and compassion. And you know, I've walked this walk. I'll be 50 years old this year. I've seen the results of what a faithful walk look like. And I wouldn't want to have it any other way.
You don't look 50, dude.
Hey, man. I feel great. So, you know, I have a lot to be thankful for. And yes, this was instilled in me at a young age, at a very young age.
Yeah. Tell me about your, I know that it's clear that your staff has some great leadership there. How large is your staff now? How large was it prior to the
Oh, wow.
this hitting?
So prior, I would say we were around because we had part-time people that worked certain days. So I'm going to say we operated between 37 to 43 people. That's including everyone. And then now, wow, it's rough. We have like 8 people and we're open 6 days a week. So we've really skimmed it down, and they're willing to evolve with the change, and they're great people, all of them. The ones that are not currently working, you know, it's a blessing to have a great team. And I look at myself as a coach. I can't take, you know, we win the championship. They did this. I was just able to motivate them and guide them in the right place. You know, they respect me, I respect them, and I'm confident that we get through this. I'm confident that as we reopen and we introduce new things, that the world is waiting for something new and innovative and a new level. And so we're ready to bring that to them. We're ready to just show them that this is what hard work, perseverance, and dedication can do. And as we come out of this COVID-19, who knows what we're going into, but we feel that we've prepared ourselves to weather the storm and continue to lift each other up and believe and drive this business forward.
Man, amen. I love it. Do you continue to communicate with, I mean, you know, it's the majority of your staff is no longer employed. Do y'all stay in touch?
Not as much as I would like. I do know that, you know, I had a couple of meetings when we first, and I took advantage of the Zoom way to do that. But the ones that are here, yes, but the ones that are currently not, I kind of communicate through the team. I hear things through the team. And at some point in the next 2 weeks or so, we will be having another meeting just to see, because there's some people that, I mean, this industry has taken a hit. There are some people that's not going to want to work this industry. There's some people that had to move on. There's some people that have a fear of the unknown. And so I have to get a gauge on that, as well as be prepared to invite new teammates in to be a part of the great things that we're doing here at Out of Use Table.
Tell me about the community there. I mean, y'all only had a year and a half to really kind of, you know, plant your flag, establish your brand, build relationships with the community. I mean, having the real news involved, you probably already had certainly some of that, but some natural audience built in. But has the community there been, has the community recognized the importance and value of places like IWBs, independently owned local small businesses that, you know, really need as much support as possible right now to get through this? Do you feel like people are making sure that they do business with y'all or support y'all or spread the word? Or what have you seen from the community so far?
Well, I think, and I'll just start from the top. I think our governor did a good job of always at every state of address that he spoke at, support local businesses, support local restaurants, And then you come down from that and you see it at the local level. You have the mayor saying things like that. There's Visit Baltimore. They're taking to Zoom, encouraging people to support local restaurants. The Downtown Partnership, they're doing the same thing. Then you have some local people and actually in the government that have visited here, just supporting the community. I believe that's what has been supporting us. We've seen sales go from, my God, what's happening, to, okay, this is moving in a good direction. And so I believe that the community definitely recognizes the support. And then there's the fact that even there was a drive where people were purchasing gift cards. Hey, we know they're not open for dine-in, let's purchase as many gift cards as you can. Even in my local church, my pastor encouraged the membership, buy from gift cards from Ottaby's table. So we got a lot of support regarding that. And we get calls, hey, when are you gonna open back up? We're supporting you, we're cheering for you. So that's definitely a good positive thing that's taken place. I think people definitely recognize that.
Good deal. So you've got you've got a great community in Baltimore. You've got a city that's been through a lot over, a number of years, and nobody's been through a pandemic. But you got a strong sense of community there. And it's very clear that what you and your partners and your team are doing is heartfelt and positive, and people, they want to be around positivity, especially at a time like this. But this is your mindset is such a big part of why y'all been able to get through this, and why you will get through it, and you'll continue to change. And you've said that you think that the business is going to be even better and stronger after this. That mindset's really important, because the way we look at things can be very indicative of what our outcomes are. And man, I'm inspired by you, my friend. I mean, you rolling up your sleeves and pushing through this through a combination of positive thinking and faith and leadership and love for your community, and it's just wonderful to hear, man. It really is. We need as much of that as we can get right now,
Yes.
everywhere.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So. Absolutely. I want to know, okay, so I got to admit, let's see, it's like 1:34 right now. I have not eaten today. I really like soul food. And so I don't even know what's on your menu, but I can take a stab, but I want you to tell me about some of your signature dishes, because I'm I kind of have like my mouth watering already, just thinking about like wishing I could eat at Ottaby's right now. But so just tease me a little bit. Tell me what y'all have that's really good, man. Cause I bet that food is phenomenal.
So I'll tell you what, some of the staple menus here at Ottaby's table is currently the smoked fried chicken, the macaroni and cheese. There's a sweet potato mash. Those were selling really great. Some of the things that we've added, and we actually added these in the transition here, we've added a crab cake. We think nothing's like a Merlin crab cake. And we've taken the time to make that crab cake, at least without the bun, is gluten-free, so we're not putting breadcrumbs in there. We added a salmon burger. We're actually poaching the salmon and flaking it and making it ourselves here, so it's not anything out of the can. It's fresh salmon that we're using. We've added on a black bean burger because we also are going to become a more vegan-friendly restaurant. You don't normally get that when you talk soul food, but my wife turned vegan in the midst of COVID, so that made me think of things from a vegan's perspective a lot more. And then we have guests that would love to have vegan meals. So as we evolve into that, another thing that we're adding on as we reopen is a smoked chicken. So we'll be smoking whole chickens. We have ribs coming out of the smoker, and we have brisket. And so these are things that we invite anyone that's looking to try it as we evolve, come on down, and we're willing to talk about it. We feel we have something great going on, and we love to hear your feedback as we evolve.
Okay, so I tip my hat to your wife for going vegan during COVID. I mean,
Yes.
She must be a strong. I mean, that's impressive. Now, I'm thinking of a lot of this food. I mean, this is, a lot of soul food is, a lot of things you just mentioned, other than the vegan stuff, at least for me, it's comfort food.
Yeah.
I really have been noticing, I just need more of that lately. I've needed more of it the last 6 months. Have you noticed that as well? Has that been a good source of comfort for folks that, have said, man, I need some good homemade mac and cheese and some fried chicken, or, some brisket or whatever right now?
Absolutely. Again, I'm an optimist, so I have to make the best of the pandemic. One of the positive is it's forced more people to eat from home. And so when you're doing that, that's where you're cooking. And what soul food is to me may not be what it is to you. I'm sure we have some common strings there, but the reality is your mindset may not be on a restaurant that's serving filet mignon. It's really, your mindset is now on that food that you grew up on, that also provides you with that warm, homely feeling when you're sitting with family and friends and just discussing something. And so that's what Ottaby's table is. It's a great place to be. It's a great place to comfort one another. And now it's a great place to pick up and go home and comfort. So yeah, I think it's pretty exciting that people's minds are in that. And it's a great opportunity for us just to take hold of that and present what the need is.
So you've changed the menu some, you've changed the business model. You're doing a lot more, the food is leaving the doors. One of the things that and you've touched on this, I want to address a little bit more. As you said, we're going to get through this. We're going to come back. It may look a little different, but one thing that's been very consistent throughout the history of humanity has been, people want to do exactly what y'all are there for, which is congregate. They want to be taken care of with good hospitality. They want to feel warm and welcomed. They want to have good food, and they want to talk and share stories and talk about what's going on. And they want to feel like they're a part of their community, and they want to gather with people in their community. And maybe that's in a group of people that are family or friends. Maybe they're celebrating a happy moment. Maybe they're celebrating or they're mourning a tough moment, or maybe they're just want to sit by themselves and, pull out their laptop and do work and have a meal, but be surrounded by a lot of people. And that's gone. That's been a hard part of this, I think, for so many folks. I believe that's going to come back. I don't think that's something that we'll ever forget or not forget. I don't think it's something we'll ever stop doing. So a year or two from now, I wonder if your business is not more successful than it would have been had this not happened, solely for the reason that you've got people now coming back in and hopefully in volume, but you've also got, quick service meals, and you've got delivery, and you've got takeout, and maybe through this really challenging time, is that part of kind of how you're looking at how y'all might come out better? Absolutely.
And that's the goal. The goal is not to I don't think there's anyone that's going to come through this and be the same. Either you're going to quit, or you're gonna figure out, okay, I have to do A, B, C, and D, and I know this doesn't work because it didn't work. So this has been a great opportunity, sort of, to just take a real look at yourself and what can I do better. Don't take for granted that you have however many covers coming in on the weekend. You really have to drive what the next is going to be. And so I believe this was the perfect storm, so to speak, to give us that opportunity to say, okay, well, we can do this, 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 and this. And we can, by doing this, we can do the things that we were created to do. Serve the community, provide moderate pricing. We can definitely increase our revenue because we're going to serve more people. And to just embrace them with just what you said, that great sense of safe ambiance that people want to be where you are. And in the midst of all of that, there's amazing food and amazing people to serve you. I absolutely believe that this sets us up to come out stronger, increase our revenue, and to be able to help more. You can do more when you make more.
Ah, that's true. That's very true. Are you, what's just the general scene in Baltimore with restaurants? Have you seen a meaningful number that have not been able to make it through this, have closed their doors, or kind of what's going on there in general?
Yeah, you've had some that didn't make it. I don't want to name names, but we've had some restaurants that's been around for a while that didn't make it. Some that took the opportunity to say, at this point, we're going to close down and we're going to reopen. So there have been a couple closures, a couple reopens. There's been some new restaurants that came on board, but restaurants that were truly struggling, I think this kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, if you were on shaky financial ground, you probably didn't make it. But with that unfortunate aspect of this, maybe there's opportunities for somebody that, you know, some young entrepreneur or not young, just some first-time entrepreneur that has an idea and maybe has access to, I don't know, you know, possibly cheaper real estate now, or more flexible lease terms, or access to, you know, cheaper money or something like that. I hope that's a part of this.
Yeah.
We need places. We really, I mean, it's the inevitable aspect of this is that places may close, but others will open, because, you know, one thing we do well here, we have our flaws in this country, but people are willing to take risks and try to do something meaningful. And we foster that, and I hope we continue to. And I think maybe you'll see a lot of really cool new things come from this. Are you pretty involved with other folks in the hospitality community there? Do you share ideas and learn from other folks there, or are you just so focused on business that you don't really have time for that?
No, so I do my best to stay involved. I'm on the board of the Restaurant Association of Maryland here, Graham. Prior to being at this restaurant, I was a part of the American Culinary Federation. I'm on the board of a local charity, Samaritan Women, where we're fighting for justice for women that's been human trafficked. I have quite a few friends that are in the restaurant industry that, you know, one of my close friends own a restaurant over in Federal Hill, and we touch bases with each other at least every other week just to encourage one another. I have another friend out in Harford County. He has a restaurant out there, and one down in Severn. So he's been in the industry longer than I. So when I need to know something, I definitely reach out. And then we also have a restaurant board. And one of the gentlemen on the restaurant board has been in this industry longer than you can imagine. And so I try to definitely, we're not going to make it alone. You definitely have to make sure you're communicating with people, you're getting encouragement as well as giving encouragement. And I think that's what's going to really make us weather this. So yeah, no way am I an island here. I love talking to people. I love talking, especially positive people. You know, I kind of have to bring it back a little bit when it starts going negative. You know, it suck you in. So I do my best to try to stay with a flowing current.
Ooh, I like that, a flowing current. I like that a lot. That's good. That's a good way to think about it. Are there people outside of Baltimore, people that you don't know personally, but within the hospitality world that you've learned from, read books, followed, or, you know, anything like that?
So I'll tell you what, there's Michael Ruhlman has wrote some great books. And one of the books that sticks out to me is The Soul of a Chef. It was about the master chef exam, and just that's passion there. It's 10 days chef certification, but that book has definitely stuck out to me. I have a couple of friends in the Philadelphia area that I reach out to, and then I had a 19-year career with Aramark, so I didn't leave on bad terms. So I definitely speak to my friends that are in the hospitality industry there, as well as people from the American Culinary Federation. I just believe once we're friends for life. So we clearly have encouraged one another via social media, and I have a friend also in Florida, and when I tell you, I don't have to tell you, you've been doing this. When we got shut down, we all got shut down. And it's just a matter of everyone's mentality is just that. We have to figure this thing out and come up with new ways to make it right.
Look, man, I really enjoyed talking to you, Derrick. I'm glad we got a chance to do this today. I love your attitude. I love what y'all are doing. Just big picture for the community, the reason that IDBs is there, the person that you're celebrating, the namesake, everything about that I've come across with you and what y'all are doing has been just positive and inspiring. So thank you, man. I appreciate the time. Will extend, of course, myself. You've got my cell, I think, in my email. I mean, anytime I share ideas or, talk about things I'm hearing elsewhere, just call me. You can add me to the list and share this talk because I know people will like hearing it. We will share it, of course. We try to, do as much as we can to share positive, meaningful stories from folks like yourself around the country that, have different types of hospitality businesses, different restaurants, but have all been through a really crazy 6 months and are, in every situation. For the folks that we share their stories, they're like you, they're positive and you can't focus on the negative. It's there. Can't change that, right? It's, it's focus on what you can change. And thanks for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Anytime.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, all right, man. Well, go sneak some ribs or some chicken or something like that. Cause you're going to go home tonight and it's going to be vegan time. Right. So, get what you can while you're there. I have to say, I'm impressed. Going vegan is not easy. Doing it during COVID, you have a strong-willed bride. So you're a lucky guy, man.
Thank you. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Yeah, she's doing amazing with it. So, yeah.
All right, man. Keep up the positivity. Keep up what you're doing. If you ever need anything, let us know. And thanks a lot for the time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Appreciate it, Derrick.
All right.
All right, man.
Yep.
All right. See you.
See you.